Okay, this is Keep It Simple Survival, Always Be Creating Destiny, Take 7. We're out here again in the middle of the desert. I couldn't go any further because the U.S. Army controls that of the government. Give it up to our Marines, our Constitution, and our freedom, and them out there fighting for us. And everybody else that's missing in your life that loves you, they're up there watching you, and they want to see you succeed. So anyway, we started off yesterday with throwing the bucket in the water and showing you that it floats and that it can be used as a flotation device as well. Not that we're going to get a big flood here in the middle of the desert. Do need some rain though. Rain's a good thing. The buckets its sole purpose is so wherever you move to, life's about moving, not staying someplace simple and saying to yourself that you're great where you're at. Well, can you get greater? Can you get better than where you're at? Can you make your life better by doing something for the country or for other people? Well, I am. That's what I'm doing here. Okay? And the buckets are for you guys because I know they work for me, and they worked throughout Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, Las Vegas, or Nevada, and now in Arizona. And so these are things that matter and to be tested. Montana was minus 20, by the way. How do you unfreeze your ice or your water, being it's frozen? There's a little heat pack in there. You put it in there and let it warm up by the sun. Big Sky's got a lot of big sunlight during the day, and you can either put it in the sun or you put your little heat pack that you kept in there and you put it on your water and melt it down. Just another technique to survive, to get water even in minus 20 degrees. It was about minus 18, I think it was the coldest. Okay, which I survived. I'm still here and I'm in the middle of the desert, and it's beautiful out here. So it's not so hot today though. Okay, and I pulled the tarp out because I wanted you to see that each bucket carries these. Each bucket carries a tarp. And you can do a lot of things with this. You can do many, many different things to save your family and give them shelter. And it fits in the bucket. Every bucket has one. Okay? If it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's pouring cats and dogs on you, get yourself a tarp. It's in the bucket. Again, I'm only doing this to show you that, the thought process of going through one of these buckets takes a little bit longer than a day or two. You can sit down and make your list. You might want to make your list of what you want in your life, your dreams, like I have. And, this list was created off of experience. It wasn't created off of just me sitting down and trying to draw it up. It is a good experience, though. Believe me, it was one of a lifetime that I took my life through. And anyone that tells you different, that knows me, will tell you, no, he did. They pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. My great friends that I have back in Mountlake Terrace, Washington, where I grew up. Hooray to those guys, right? Thank you all. Anyway, each thing in this bucket is for survival. Okay, it's not meant for you to go to the picnic down the road and go camping with it. Okay, if you're going to go down camping and not come back, and God forbid you don't come back, you might want to bring that bucket. And the travel bucket's right underneath it. Those are important. Why? Because, again, you let your wife go down the road with the kids in the caravan, and she breaks down, gets a flat tire. I was the other day, I saw a gal that was broken down, and she said her alternator went out. Good thing she was over at O'Reilly's, and she said her man's on the way, okay, to change her tire or to change her alternator, which sometimes you got to change the alternator up here to get moving forward out there. So, you're a super person and you're super amazing. And whoever told you different, you need to stop right there and just say it to yourself enough times till you get it in your head that you are. You're that type of a person, okay? You're an American or a human. You deserve the right to live. You deserve the rights that everybody has, okay? Equal or not. If your religion is a cactus and that's your God, your maker, if you will, then that's you. That you're welcome. You made it. You have a heartbeat and a breath, and you're above the dirt. You can do something with your life, whether you're at the bottom or whether you're halfway at the top. I was very well pushed all the way to the bottom because I felt like going through that as a man. I've gone many places in my life, 37 states and 6 different countries. And I can tell you that beautiful places out there, but when you're pushed to the bottom and you see it and you know what it looks like, you really don't want to go back. You don't want to go back there, and you don't ever want to go back down there. You know what it's like. You're only going to do it so many times before your mind says, no, I'm not doing that again. And believe me, it's a struggle we all carry. Everybody has it, not just me, okay? And again, I'm a 42-year-old single man. I was born in Diego, raised up in Seattle, Mount Lake Terrace, okay? At the end of the day, I chose to do something different, okay? I did have a different career path and all that great stuff that taught me everything I knew, all the way from electrical to construction to real estate. But for me, there was a little bit more to life than just building a house or selling one or having some property, if you will. These things are for humans, for us, for our race, and for the heartbeat and the breath of your family. And that's important. And I want to show you and expose to you how important that is, because if you don't think it is and someone's told you otherwise, then you could kind of let that go, that notion in your head, and say, no, it is. Your family's name is important, you're important. And whatever you're doing to not make it important, you need to stop and just start making it important. And you have the superpower inside you to release it and let it out and be that person you want to be. We can always use extra hands. So the rope I showed you yesterday was for not only throwing the bucket downriver, okay, but it's also used for the tarp. There's holes in the tarp that come with it like that, but you can also make a little tent, T-tent, and there's hooks in there that you can hook on something. Now out here, there's not much you can hook onto. You're gonna have to make a different, find a cliff or an edge or edge of a rock and get from that point to make your tent, if you will. We couldn't throw in there no 20-man tent because one bucket's only good for a family of 4. If you want to go get yourself a Coleman 20-man tent, you might want to hit Walmart or something. Okay, and again, if that's not in the hurricane or the flood, then you might want to get a boat to go get it, because this floats and it has a tarp. Okay, so let's keep it simple and know what it is. What's the sole purpose? I found these things here where I'm at, and they're shells that were fired off. And a lot of people say, well, what about security? I need security. I have to have my 6-shooter or my pearl handle 45, right? These things hurt people. And I don't own a gun personally. I owned about 7 or 8 of them up in Montana, but I got, or I didn't own them, I guess you'd say. I got to shoot them, practice shooting, that type of thing. But these things they do work, okay? However, I'm not putting any of these in the bucket. So if you want to pack your 6-shooter, your pearl handle 45, or your 12 gauge, by all means, bring it. But it's not going in the bucket. This is about life, about saving lives. That's what Keep It Simple Survival, Always Be Creating Destiny is. It's about saving your life, your family's life, your friend's life, every life you know that you see every day, even if it's your neighbor or whatnot. Somebody needs help, you got a bucket, you can help them. You can stop on the side of the road and give them water if you have to, because you have it now inside your bucket. And you don't have to think. I created the site very simply, and it doesn't force you to put your name on there to get your bucket ordered. It doesn't force you to buy something. It just, I put it on there so you can preliminary put your name on a list and pre-order it by the time I get these processed. It's 7.4 billion people, so you can imagine how many buckets we got to create. It's not something that I can do overnight. Anyway, the bucket comes with everything you guys need to survive. Now, I've been told many other things that, you need this, that, and then some. I've listened to many people all the way from where I told you, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California, and many other friends from Florida all the way down to Arizona. And I personally have experienced some of the stuff that's in that, but most of the stuff, 98% of it. The 2% would be the feminine stuff I put in there for that. Or actually it's 50-50, I put in both. So those things are from an experience of my daughter and knowing what a little girl would need to grow up. Raising her from birth, and my son, I was taught some things that a father must need and a father must provide for these children. It's in the bucket. And I want you to know that that's kind of like, you know, I don't want to say I want to promise you because I don't do promises. But I do guarantee that you will survive with that bucket if you know how to use it, which comes with instructions. And the reason why it comes with instructions is because we're so consumed by having everything ready to eat, from McDonald's down to Safeway being right there, and consuming constant food, a lot of it, you know. And don't get me wrong, I love a big shindig, y'all do too, but in order to survive, you have to realize that you can't just consume everything right away. Your family can't, so someone's got to take charge there. And presumably, who orders the bucket? Whether it be the wife that has to sit down and realize that her husband won't do it because he's, you know, macho and he's got a big 12 gauge, right? You know, it's great, believe me. You know, I'm not knocking anybody on that point, but you got a bucket? Do your friends got a bucket? No, then you need to stop thinking by yourself and start thinking of others, okay? And believe me, that's another notion that you're going to have to go through. And forgiveness, go through that too, okay? Go forgive everybody in your past, as I did. Especially your ones that wanted to hurt you, or people that had bad ill on you. Those are things that matter, so your life can continue in a great way, okay? So yesterday when we went through the bucket, I threw it in the water, and I'm going to go a little faster here because the video, I want to make sure it gets uploaded right, okay? And I threw it in the water, took it out, and I showed you what was in it partially, mostly everything that was in there. Now, when you're out in the wilderness and you have to have food, water, shelter, security, and hygiene, you know, you don't need absolutely everything. That big box of Costco stuff you buy every week or every month, you know, or you think you're going to have it when Mount Rainier blows and all the ash covers your house, right? You're the guy that's going to have it, and you're going to come out and say, I got the Costco box, right? I got it. It doesn't work. What works is you got about 2 to 3 minutes to grab something that has everything you need in it. And these are made in the USA, manufactured in the USA. And yes, manufacturing is going bye-bye. But it's still going to take human hands, human kind of hands that we have today, and many of them, to personalize the bucket so that way it's packed correctly. You know, a machine can make a car and do all that stuff, but it still takes a human to oversee it and drive it and take it down the road. So the human side of this is people need jobs, people need to get to the point to where they're helping out society. So I created it in that form, and as I said before, 30% all earnings go towards children that have cancer, leukemia, have Crohn's disease. They're sitting inside of a room right now wishing for Disneyland, and they've never seen the side of the outside. They've never been there. These kids need help, and they need to be able to have dreams, just like you and I have dreams. Because I've been to Disneyland and Disney World, and so have my children. And these things can get them there. They can get them there based on the love for life, the love to help people, the love for humanity. That's what I would like to see anyway. So if you think there's another notion on there that I need your dollar or want your dollar, believe me, I've had many of them. I want your condolence and your undivided attention, so that way you know you have a life to save, a family to save. And those things matter. They matter to everybody. And anybody that told you otherwise, they're not telling you the truth. Okay? And the other things that are in that bucket are simple things. Okay? I showed you baking soda. I showed you some food. I showed you some hygiene stuff. There's still some stuff in there that I haven't brought out yet. I'm going to put those on the website so that way you can see. Now, if you're out there trying to create something like me and say, oh, well, I can do the same thing he can do, but better, listen, this isn't about being better. This is a mass majority of survival, okay? You don't know what hurricane season's coming up, and if you're the only one saving your bucket, then what about the rest of the 12 million people down in Florida, you know? What are they going to do? Go run and get your bucket because you decided to make one with Walmart or whatever it was that you went and started to just save yourself, right? Yeah. Well, this is America. We all work together, okay? Welcome to it. The buckets are for everybody. 7.4 billion people. And the military is for our protection of freedom, liberty, and justice, okay? Our Constitution. So let's get this straight with what it is that we're doing. We're just going to make a movement based on a precaution, so that way it's in the event, okay? In the event something does happen that's significant, and you are caught involved in it. Now you have a tool. You have a tool that can help you get to the other side, like that lake that I showed you yesterday, which I've swam quite a few lakes like that, you know, myself without a bucket. And one time I went all the way out, thought I could make it all the way out. I was in the middle of the lake, and I couldn't. It was either I'll keep going, maybe possibly not make it, but I didn't have a bucket, so I swam back the other way where I came from. And as I was getting back in, I was getting, my fatigue was running out. Well, that fatigue ended up being to where I raised my hand and somebody came and picked me up, close about maybe, I don't know, it was like 100 yards from the shoreline, but that was across a pretty big lake. In fact, it's in Montana. But outside of that, you know, these things here are designed, and their thought is to save your life, the love that you have for your own life and others and around you and Americans. And it doesn't matter if they're in Africa or Switzerland or Italy or France or Paris, or you know, the 330 million people that are in each one of these countries, the 990,000 Chinese people. You know, these people still need our help, and that's what we are. We're Americans. We help people. And so you know, let's get rid of the notions and all the thoughts that say, you know, you're going to go out and do this, that, and then some, and try to go from there. Look, this is 30% gone to donations, donated over to St. Jude's, Make-A-Wish, and to end the hunger strikes over in different countries, and the fact that we're Americans, we already have enough food. I mean, we have so much food, we waste so much food that can feed the rest of this country, or the rest of the world, if you ask me. So, you know, the buckets are designed, again, we're going to go back to staying alive, okay? Anything staying alive. You know, you might be in a bad place right now, but things are going to change for you. Things are going to get better for you. You're gonna move forward, and you're going to get up, and you're going to do something with your life. And if it is that you want to help create, well, let's start with yourself. Let's get yourself a bucket, and again, we'll move forward with that notion that says you're on your way. And believe me, just putting your name on a list is sometimes hard. Get to the library, free internet, right there. You can get on the website. But if you're watching this video, you've already gone one step. You've already taken the step to listen to it. So, and whether it's me telling you this or me not saying it to you, I know that notion in your head is like, should I, shouldn't I? I've been there, and you know, it's a matter of if you want to get up off your bed tonight or wherever you sleep and do something with it. It takes about a second to decide that. So it's quite windy out here, so you would definitely need something to stop that from, like you're over in a cave or something like that. But you know, the things with these bullets or these things to protect you out in the wilderness. Now in Montana they got grizzly bears, up in California they got grizzly bears, and in Alaska they got grizzly bears and all that kind of stuff, and big old elk and all that. You're going to need some security, but the way I designed it was, you know, you put a line around your some of the fishing line around your emergency campsite, and you can put it on there where it dingles something that keeps you awake. And believe it or not, animals are more afraid of you than you of it, because they don't see humans that much. I mean, if you can imagine a bear never seeing a human, and then here you are walking in, and you got this green tarp that's got army stuff on it, and you got your peanut butter or your cans of food, and you left them out because you forgot to put them away or you didn't wash them out, and it smelled that because it's never seen that. And believe me, they can pick up that scent. So these are things that matter. And again, in the manifest of the bucket, it's a laminated manifest, and it's going to tell you exactly what portion to survive for the 90 days. Now if you only have 30 days, yeah, you can move the portions up. But we're not promised tomorrow, so you might not know what it is, how long you're going to be out in the wilderness. You know, you might be out there for a little bit, and that little bit counts on your life coming out of there, starting it, and doing something with it. You know, so you know, take it from me. I've gone through so many things in my life, so many experiences with meanings, that I'm not doing this because I'm getting paid to right now as an hourly employee. I designed the company, built the company, and I have a passion, a deep passion to survive. And I don't think there's another point in my life where I'm going to say that you know, I give up or failure is an option. It's not. Failure's not an option, and no means next to me. So you got to have a love, and the love that you have for yourself and your family and everybody else that is human. Remember, it doesn't matter what religion you are, what color you are, where you're from. If you got a heartbeat and a breath and you're above ground, you can do something special, something that creates something significant, and it gives you a meaning behind it. Well, this is mine, and I know that you're going to be watching this video, and you might even watch it over and over. Okay, And believe me, it's not easy. I don't have a teleprompter. Okay, I get up in the morning and I do my normal things, and I come out here and I take the time to do this because I know that there's people out there that need help, and we're sitting there not doing nothing, maybe watching TV, in fact. And turn the TV off, and set the radio down a little bit, and get yourself motivated to do something. You can do it. It's an easy form of keeping it simple in your life. Keep things very simple. However, the one main thing that I wanted you to see, the reason why I took the tarp out was because they come in different colors and sizes and stuff like that. Like, obviously you don't need a big one in the small bucket. So to personalize the bucket, you can put on there whatever you want. If you're a diabetic and you need sugar, and you want to make sure of that, so put that on the website. Say, I got special stuff that needs to be put in there, whether it's your vitamins, whether it's whether it's something that you need that's special for you. You already should know that you have it in there. And the reason why is because that bucket's personally designed for you and your family. So if you got a child that needs special care, and it needs something that's in there that helps it from skin stuff, like cream or lotion or something like that, put it on there, and we'll put it in the bucket for you. And any special instructions that you want, that you would need, it would be in the bucket, and we would consider it. And from there, it goes back down to all of our experiences can add up to a great return of having this. These are mine. And believe me, it's not easy thinking for everybody, but I've thought enough to where you can take the average person, like me, just an average person. And I grew up in a school in Mount Lake Terrace with 70 friends, I think it was. At the end of the day, I had to think for all those guys too. And this is for you guys, okay? For you guys to know that you can make it. You can make it every day with something in your hand. If you lost your house and it got up in a tornado and it crashed way over there, and we have an earthquake like the one that hit San Francisco or LA, and your house is now flattened in concrete in shambles or whatever, you have that bucket because you felt it and you knew where it was, in your closet or right next to your closet in your bed or wherever it is, somewhere easy access to. You grabbed it and left, or got out of the house before it fell. At least I hope you did. Flood came in, that tidal wave's coming in, 5 minutes and 30 seconds at 536 miles per hour. You still got about a couple minutes to grab your bucket and get further up that hill and get up there and get ready to absorb the power that those things have. And even if you don't, someone else might not have a bucket or forgot to grab it. That means you can help them, and that is a blessing to you. And so I want you to know that I'm very appreciative for you guys watching this, and I'm very grateful that you guys are going to do something about this, because it needs to be to where we have these things as a normal way to live. Okay, there's no survival gear out here except my buckets. And if there was someone stuck out here, they would have to walk to get to where they can be seen. And whether we put these things in the worst places where they can be broken, like a fire thing, then that's what we'll do. But it needs to happen, and it's going to happen. And I want the help that I can get from all you guys. And I believe that you guys are that great of a person, that you guys have that much inside your heart and that much time on your hands. Okay, again, we're not promised tomorrow. We're only promised the 24 hours we have in a day. What I choose to do with mine is this, and believe me, I feel blessed even talking to you and doing all this stuff. It's overwhelming sometimes. But, I love this country, and I love my freedom, justice, and liberty, and the Marines, and the U.S. Army, the Navy, the Constitution, our society, people, humans, all alike. And the challenge to do this is something that's significant, and it's big. It's big enough for me to get off my couch or off my bed. That's how much it takes for me. So take it from someone that just needs a challenge that big to get to do something, okay? Because I've had many challenges in my life. Raising 2 kids ain't easy. Single father. Believe me, I've watched a lot of people pay child support, and they were weekend dads. I was a full-time dad, and still am. And I love my children, and they love me, and they got a bucket. And it's something that was just given. I just did it because I'm a father, and I wanted to make sure my daughter and my son is that important to me. So again, love your mother, love your father, love your sisters, your brother, and your nieces, nephews, and grandpa, and call them up and say you love them, because you never know when you only got 5 more minutes of their breath. And most of all, thank yourself, love yourself, and tell yourself that every day. Whatever you got to do to make it. And your 6-shooter, your pearl handle 45 or your 12 gauge, well, I don't know if I'd stick that next to the bucket, being if you have children and all, but you know, take it from someone who knows a little bit about them. Just put it away for now, and then that way you can get life started rather than death. Okay, but that's my opinion, and have a great time doing it. Okay, like I am, because I'm loving life and it's beautiful. So David out.